Hello and welcome to the second tier. I'm Ryan Dilks and I'm joined by Justin Peach because we've got yet more managerial news in the Championship. I'm thinking this is the last bit of managerial news, Justin, because I think every club is now sorted ahead of the new season unless someone does a Mark Bowen for some club just before the start of the season. But we now know who is going to be in charge of Fulham heading into the new season. It's former Hull, Watford and Everton boss Marco Silva. This is the first job he's had since being out of work when he was sacked by Everton in December 2019. Justin, what are your initial thoughts on this?
I think it's best summed up by that statement. I'm not utterly convinced. It feels a little bit Felix Magath. Obviously, the Fulham board have got previous with managerial signs that don't quite fit the bill, and I think this is certainly one of them. And the reason why I think that is because he's never, ever convinced me that he's got what it takes to be a top manager in England. And that's before we even get onto the Watford issues back when he was sacked at Watford. Just looking at top
Just chipping in there, he wasn't sacked. He left as soon as another club came knocking because he was only there I think he got appointed in May and was out the door in January, which Watford fans are not bitter about whatsoever.
But he resigned, but he didn't get the Everton job until the summer. So obviously something was quite awry there. But if we're looking at top level stats, his win percentage average in the UK as manager of an English club, or the three clubs he's managed at, is 36%. And the three managers that were all relatively poor for Everton, Koeman, Allardyce and Martinez, all got vilified by Everton fans, all have a higher win percentage than Marco Silva. I don't rate him, if I'm being honest, and I don't think it's the right appointment for Fulham. I think Fulham need a coach who, firstly has knowledge of the Championship. I think that always helps. Doesn't always have to be a thing, but because of the issues that Fulham are going to have, i.e. needing to rebuild their squad, I think having that sound knowledge of the Championship is going to help. And someone who plays reliable football, I think. I'm just not convinced.
Yeah, I've always thought of Marco Silva as a bit of an enigma in the way that he got very good press for the jobs that he was doing, but I was looking at those jobs and thinking, is he actually doing that well? Because he ended up getting relegated with Hull, nearly got relegated with Everton in the final season that he was there. And so I'm looking at this whole situation and thinking, I'm not too sure. I don't want to say I don't rate him as a manager. I don't want to go that far, but I'm not completely sold on him. I think having knowledge of the Championship would definitely help, but I don't think it's the be end and be all and end all of whether he's going to be a good manager in the Championship, because we've seen with previous managers like Rafa Benitez, for example, and Nuno, that you don't necessarily need to have experience in the Championship to be a success. With this Fulham squad that he's got a decent enough Fulham squad to bounce straight back into the Premier League. It's just whether he's got the tactical capabilities of being able to do it. And one of the many criticisms that was labelled at him at Everton, because he had quite a good squad at Everton, was that it was all very basic. It was a lot of crosses into the box to see if anyone could just get onto the end of it. And if that didn't work, go out wide again, stick in another cross to see if that would work. And that was it. But he did have quite a few injuries at Everton, I remember, as well. So I'm not too sure. If I could just sum it up in a sentence, I'm really not sure about this at all.
I think if you go back to the Hull spell, he signed, I think it was a Ranocchia from Inter Milan, a 6'5" defender, Italian. Yeah. And, he seemed to have relatively good knowledge of the European market. Is that going to benefit Fulham in this situation? No. But I think that's the only spell you can really look at and go, yeah, you take a little bit of confidence here, because that was a team down on its knees. I think at the start of the season, that was the squad. Remember the infamous squad photo with Curtis Davies, Huddleston, David Mailer, where there was only 8 or 9 of them, and they went on a pre-season tour with literally just it was just a group of lads, wasn't it? It wasn't a squad. And they were on their knees that season. And he came in and they fought valiantly, and fair enough. And he got the Watford job, and they started well. And then the speculation mounted about Everton, and that's when he started to nosedive in terms of his profile, etc. So yeah, not entirely convinced. And I think as well as that, he's a bit of a yes man for the board. I think the disagreements with Scott Parker and the ownership at Fulham was down to bringing in players, what they could do with the squad. Marco Silva went to Watford. Watford were of a similar model, where it's down to the model that they have, where their recruitment team brings players in for the coach. It's a head coach model, essentially. I think that's why they've avoided the likes of Chris Wilder, because he just doesn't fit that mould that Fulham are after. But I still feel there was better options available than Marco Silva for Fulham.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. When you look at even someone like Alex Neil, would just make sense for me. Just someone who's got experience in the Championship and has got experience in the past of getting a side promoted. It's worth pointing out, Marco Silva actually turned down the Fenerbahce job to go to Fulham instead. So it sounds like Fulham have made some promises to him that they're going to bring in players before the season starts to try and get straight back into the Premier League. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do on that front. The final thing on Marco Silva is, and it's the most irritating thing about him, is the fact that he always looks like he's just seconds away from tears. I can't get past it. He's constantly got a sad face on, Justin.
Yeah. You know how he wears his open shirt, no tie, with just a suit jacket? It looks like he's just come out of an interview and he's been told that he's not the right man for the job, but we might be in touch later down the line. Yeah. And he's always got that sort of face. And as you say, close to tears, just taking his time. Screw this. I'm not applying for any more jobs.
We just want to see you smile, Marco, and we might actually see that if Fulham do get promoted this season. But
that might be the issue with him. Perhaps we've not seen him smile, and if he smiled a little bit more, we might be a little bit more convinced by him. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit ignorant. It's not down to tactics all the time. It's just down to having a
big old
nice smile. Yeah,
wearing nothing else but a smile. That's all we want to see from Marco Silva. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the second tier. This has been our analysis of the appointment of Marco Silva at Fulham. We'll be back again very soon, hopefully with no more managerial news. Hopefully we'll be able to talk about transfers very soon, because as I say, I think the managerial situation is now sorted. At least we hope so, fingers crossed. But we'll be back again very soon with not just news and reactions to that, but also with some Championship content. So keep an eye out on our YouTube channel for that. Like, subscribe, comment. How do you think Marco Silva will do? Thank you, Justin. How do you think Marco Silva will do? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll be back again very soon.